G'day, I'm Scotty Tucker, that damn Aussie pond guy. Here to show you some tips, tricks and products that will make managing your pond or dam a whole lot easier. If you want to learn more about all things ponds and dams, give us a call, shoot us an email or click on subscribe. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Messner Eco-X2 pond pump. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's have a look at the Eco-X2 4500. All of the models are essentially the same in terms of the what's in the box and cage sizing and that type of thing, so we'll focus on the 4500. Now, I think one of the very first things that is worthwhile saying when it comes to Messner is that they have I don't know if you can see that well there, but there's a 5-year warranty on the pump, on the motor. And the reason why there's a 5-year warranty on the product is probably the most important thing to do with Messner is down here in relatively small writing. I wish I'd make it bigger, but it simply says 3 words, made in Germany. Now that's actually quite important in today's environment because this is a premium pump, this is a premium quality pump. You're not going to be buying this pump based on price because it's as cheap as something you'll get in a big hardware store or anything like that. That's not what this pump is for. If you're after the cheapest pond pump on the market, turn the video off, this is not for you. This is a top quality, high quality, last for years and years and years pump that is still manufactured in Germany. Messner is a small family company that's been around for decades, and they still do all of their manufacturing in Germany. The reason why that's important is that in Australia and worldwide for that matter, there are a lot of manufacturers now that did originally start in Germany in the pond pump industry, and the impression is that the equipment's still made in Germany when it's not. A lot of these companies will have a little German sticker on it and it'll say things like engineered in Germany. It might say designed in Germany. Another one might say global inspiration, German technology, all these really fancy words which effectively mean made in China. So be wary if you're paying a premium price for a premium product that it is actually made in a premium country responsible or reputable for high quality products. China's not. So German pump, made in Germany, German price, but German quality. So now let's open it up and take a look. Alright, quite nice packaging, a little bit of a diagram there of what we're going to sort of step you through now in terms of how to take the pump apart and have a look at the pump. There's your instructions. Again, no Aussie ever reads instructions, but they are there. Please read them. Now you get these other fittings here, which I'll step you through in a little while. 10 metre solid rubber high quality cable, and this multi-stage hose tail fitting. Now when it comes to the hose tail fittings, you'll see there's different sizes there, and what you do is if you're using the larger of the two, you would actually chop the smaller one off and remove it so you're not restricting the flow through. Looking at this, it looks like these two sizes are going to be either 40 and 50 mil or 32 and 40 mil. I'll confirm that in a minute when I have a closer look at the packaging. Okay, let's continue to open this up. Oh, looks like we've got to put the cable through there. Get the pump out. Nice of them to put an easy handle to remove the pump and actually handle the pump. So let's close it up there because I'm going to look at the packaging. So looking at the packaging here, it does say 32 and 40 mil for the 4500, the 7500 models, this is one of them. Then the 10,000, 13,000, 16,000 and 20,000. The 10, 13 and 16,000 will use a 40 mil or a 50 mil hose. And then the 20,000 has connection for a 50 or a 63 mil hose. And the reason why that's important is that the more flow that you've got going through a hose, the more restriction there is, and you lose a bit of flow if you try and restrict the hose by having a too small a diameter hose. So they're the appropriate sizes that you should be using for pumps of that size. All right, so let's have a look at this. So there's a little lacquer band around the outside. That's just simply for transport and packaging. Quite a strong, sturdy, beefy looking pump. Yeah, it's a beast of a thing. It's fantastic. Now, the cage itself, inside the cage, which we'll open up in a minute, but inside the cage is the motor. And you can see that this cage is kind of like a grid or a grate. And what that means is that anything that's small enough to get sucked in through that cage or that grate won't damage the pump, and it will get thrown out the other side. So your fish poo, your rotting leaves, vegetation will get sucked through here and chucked into a filter. This particular style of pump is used for filtration and for waterfalls. So you don't want obstructions. You actually want the stuff getting sucked through and pushed through into the filter. And that's what this pump will enable you to do. The other thing with it is that from a maintenance point of view, this is as close to a no maintenance pump as you will ever get. It's not uncommon for these things to be completely covered with leaves and debris and still sucking water in through there. So if you like the idea of paying more money to get a pump that you don't have to clean, this is the way to do it. This is the one to get. We get customers quite often. So I've had this pump for 5 years, 10 years, never pulled it out of the pond. I don't recommend it, but that people do it. All right, so the cage has, you'll see there's screen there, screen on the top, screen in the front, and also screen on the side, and just a base plate on the bottom with little lugs for it to sit on. All right, so it's quite simple, quite basic. You would just simply put the hose on the top there, the hose tail, and then connect your hose and water goes out and off you go. Now, one of the unique things about this particular style of pump is that in a pond where you've got a filter, having the hose on the top, especially in shallower ponds, it may not be ideal, because then you've got to put the hose on top and you've got the hose that will wrap around, so it probably stands up about this high. And that means that in shallower ponds, it might actually be popping out over the top, which people generally don't like. So what you can do with this model pump is you can actually change this fitting here and remove it and swap it with this one, and then adjust the pump around to the side and put one of these on either side and have the outlet coming out to the side, which means that then you can put your hose on the side here and it runs out there and it doesn't pop up over the top. So quite a well thought out design there from Messner. All right, so to get into the pump to actually do those sorts of changes, and when you do want to check the motor inside and give it a clean, they've got these two little clips on the side which push up on either side like that, and that then enables you to push these little clips in here, and we'll just pop that front one out. As you can see, they will come off as well. You don't have to take them off, but you can. So there's these little clips here. Although you can do this without tools, it is a hell of a lot easier just to pop it open with a screwdriver. Check out how one of the Messner reps does it. Right, so that's what the pump looks like on the inside. You can see you can lift it off like so. It's got a couple of brackets or housings for the motor to sit on. And what you would do when you want to clean this is, if there is any stuff on the inside, you give that, pull all that out, give it a bit of a hose, blast it off, stick the hose in there, remove your fittings from the pump motor itself, and just stick a hose in there and give it a bit of a clean. If there's any gunk or debris, just pull it out, and that's essentially all you need to do to clean it. Now, when you want to go a little bit further, if you want to check the condition of the impeller on the inside, you can remove the 4 screws that are here to get inside to the impeller of the pump. Now, you'll see at the back of the motor, all the electrics are actually encased in a resin. So it's like a can, it's like it's effectively filled. And that's why with these pumps that are in the water, it's a good idea to have it so that all the electrics are completely sealed in this resin. And it also means that if there's, for whatever reason, as the pump ages, or if you get some sort of electrical issue with your power supply and it causes drama, the pump itself, you can't actually get in there to make repairs. They're a single unit, which is quite common in pond pumps. All right, so when we open this up here, you'll see that on the inside is the impeller. That's the part that moves around and spins the water. And this has got a unique patented impeller. And it's almost like a food processor where it will spit solid waste and push it out the other side. And when you pull it out and open, you'll see that there's a stainless steel or a steel rotor housing. There's also an O-ring here, and it sits on a very thick ceramic shaft. So it's quite well designed, good solid unit. And you can see that there's the can that I was talking about from the inside. Now this O-ring that's sealed here will actually enable you to use this pump outside of the pond if you do want to. You'll be able to have it external to the pond. The thing with pond pumps when you do that is that pond pumps won't be able to suck water up. So like through a straw, for example. So you can't have a pond pump sitting above water level. If it's outside of the pond, it's got to be lower than the water level, and you have a penetration through the side of the pond and a pipe running through, and the pipe would go into the front here, which is where the water would get sucked in and through. But that's the same with any pond pump. They're not designed to suck water up, like say a pool pump would. All right, so that's that. All right, now another key thing with these pumps is the power consumption. One of the biggest selling points with this pump is the power consumption. So having the patented impeller and the fact that it's made in Germany, and the Germans are quite particular about their power consumption from all of their sort of products. To give you an idea, this particular model here uses only 48 watts. That's the 4500. The 7500 uses 75 watts. The 10,000 uses 110 watts. The 13,000 uses 140 watts. The 16,000 uses 190 watts. And the 20,000 litre an hour uses 205 watts. That's an enormous amount of water that's moving for very low power. And it's very important in a filter pump because you need to have your filter running 24/7. So spend more money on a pump that uses less power is my advice, because you get your money back in your running costs. Another key thing with the German pumps is that when you have a rating saying how much the power consumption is being used, you can be sure that it's correct. Another thing with the Chinese product is that they'll put out these ratings that are just false. When you can get meters now that you plug in and you test the power consumption of pumps, and what it says on the box from a Chinese pump and what it actually does when you test it, they don't line up in quite a high number of cases. So be conscious of that. All right, let's put this pump back together again and get it boxed up. Right, so when putting this back together, let's say we did want to have the outlet on the side, what you do is just simply turn the pump around like so, run the cable out through the little notch on the side, and then when we put it back, you would put the outer case on, and instead of using this one on the outlet like here, you would replace it with this one, which completely blocks that off, and then on the side, where the outlet of the water flowing out now is, that's where you would put this one here. So again, quite a unique, good design. Now I'm not going to do that right now because I've got to get this back the way it came out of the box and send it off to a happy customer. Okay, so there you have the Messner Eco-X2 pond filtration pump. German made, 5-year warranty, lowest power consumption you can get for pumps of this type. Exceptional quality, and my recommendation for a filtration pump. I'm Scotty Tucker, thanks for watching.